got some Jordan 4s to look at. The Air Jordan 4 Retro. Now this is that Undefeated colorway. Before we get into the review, do me a favor. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. If you do dig the content, also hit that share button. These videos that we do on this channel are strictly for review purposes. So if you do happen to have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to drop those down below. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the review. So this sneaker does come in this all gray box here. Now smack dead on the box lid, you do have like this, 20-year anniversary branding. Over here you do have this red 0. Now inside here you do have the Undefeated logo, and then you do have the Jordan Jumpman logo there in the red. Now if you do a 360 around the box, you will notice more of like, that hit of gray. Now the bottom portion of the box doesn't really have too much going on. It's just like, you're all gray. But over here you do have some Nike branding and copyright information here in black. Now for those that do care about that, there you go. Now the box label on the sneaker does read Air Jordan 4 Retro OG SP. The colorway says deep green and then black. So when you do open the box, now it is a swing box lid situation. Now up underneath, it doesn't have like any stamps or anything like that. It's just like, this hit of white here. Now inside the box, they did give us this card insert. It does have like, some Undefeated branding. And then over on the back here, it's kind of like a postcard situation, but you do have some Jordan branding over on this side. Now moving that out the way, now inside the box, you do have this white wax paper here, and it does have the Undefeated and Jordan brand in here, and it is like some wax paper. When you move that out the way, you are met with more of this white tissue paper here in a sense, and then you are met with the actual sneaker itself. Now this will be a limited release. Definitely go ahead to get this one in the collection. Inside the box, now let me take a look. Well, you do have your green and white sticker over here on this side. But moving the box out the way, getting to the sneakers, heavily sought after sneaker. Now this is a retro. We have seen Undefeated and Jordan brand collab with the Air Jordan 4 in this same kind of colorway. Now there are like, some similarities between like this one and like, the original release a few years back. I do tend to like this version a little bit better. Excellent, I do love like, the hit of green there, and then like the orange hits. Yeah, man, not gonna take too long on this one. Let's just go ahead and just dive right into it. And again, this is the Air Jordan 4 Retro, and this is the collaboration with Undefeated. Now this is the 2025 version. So we're gonna take a look at the right sneaker like we always do. Now from first observation, the sneaker does look like what you would expect from like any other Air Jordan 4. On the lateral side of the sneaker, first thing you notice first is like, this mid portion here. And it does have like this rib netting material. Up underneath, you do have like this hit of like a deep green situation. And it is like, some nylon mesh up under there. Now they did give us these black lace crowns here going towards the rear. You do have this black triangular wing. Now this time it is, a little glossed out. You do have more green hits in this new buck over on this side. Green stitching is consistent throughout the entire sneaker. Now the midsole of the sneaker, they did give us like, this hit of black here, and it is like, black stemming up from like, the bottom portion of the sneaker. Now going towards the back, you do have that hit of sail, and you do have that cut out there for the air bubble. If you do look closer, you can kind of see like the hit of orange there, and that is pretty much it for the lateral side. Now switching gears, going to the front toe box area of the sneaker, you are met with more of that green nubuck material, and it is like, transitional. They did give us this mud guard situation here in this deep green, and it does have like, some green green stitching. Green stitching is consistent throughout the entire sneaker. The upper portion of the toe box area, you are met with more of that rib netting material, and you do have the green nylon mesh material showing up underneath. The nylon mesh does, like, go up about 3/4 of the tongue. The sneaker did come pre-laced, and they did actually give us these flat black laces here, and they did give us a secondary lace option, and I'll show that to you guys toward the end of the review. But going up towards the top area for the tongue, you are met with, like, some sort of like, satin material here in green, and then they did actually give us this black tab here, and it does have like the hit of orange, and it does have the flight branding there in black. This is a Velcro situation, so when you do move that out the way, you do have this Jordan Rare Air in white. Me personally, I don't feel like you can lose either way. Me personally, I'm going to wear, like, the actual, the little patch here, just because, like, I may go ahead and like swap the black laces for the orange, because the orange laces on this sneaker does kind of contrast very well with the hit of orange here on the tongue and on the back, and then also, like, in other areas of the sneaker. But the orange laces aren't a bad option at all. Going towards the back of the tongue, you do have this hit of orange, and instead of like giving us the tag here with the Air Jordan tags, this time they gave us that hit of the Undefeated branding there in white. Inside the sneaker, now I'm not going to pull it out, but you do have a orange insole on the right sneaker. It does have the Undefeated branding on the inside. Going on the medial side of the sneaker, you do have your black triangular wing over on this side with the matching black lace crowns. Again, you do have that rib netting material smack dead in the middle in that deep green with the hit of the green nylon mesh. More green nubuck over on this side. And then, of course, you do have that sail midsole with the air bubble showing there. And, of course, you do have the hit of orange showing through on the inside. And that's pretty much it for the medial side. Now going towards the rear, they did give us this black pull tab here. One thing that I'm grateful for with this pair, they did go ahead and give us that Nike Air branding in black, and it is sort of glossed out, as you can see. They did go ahead and give us more of this green nubuck material going towards the back here. Green stitching is consistent, just like the entire sneaker itself. And then you do have more of that sail hit going towards the back for the heel. Now going towards the bottom of the sneaker, it does have your standard Air Jordan 4 traction, so it is herringbone traction throughout the entire bottom. Up top, you do have this hit of orange, and then you do have the hit of the orange for the Nike brand in there, smack dead center. Now the left sneaker is pretty consistent with the right. Everything over on this side for the most part is the same, but they did give us this black tag here, and it does have the Undefeated brand in here. And if you look closely, it does have the Jordan Jumpman logo showing there in orange. Now inside the sneaker, they actually did give us a secondary lace option, and it does come in this brown box here. The brown box does have like the shoelaces text and the Jordan Jumpman logo, but they did give us, like, these flat orange laces. And again, I did want to point out that I actually should have laced these up in orange for you guys, just to kind of show you how that looks on the video, but it is what it is. But the secondary option here in orange is an excellent option. I do feel like they actually do go a little bit better than the black laces, but to each his own. You can't lose either way. And that's pretty much it. If I were to actually rate these sneakers, I would definitely give these a 10 out of 10. I love the concept. Definitely glad that they actually did kind of like, swing back and give us this pair here. One thing that I did value this time around, they did give us that Nike Air branding on the back. On the other pair, they actually just gave us like that Jordan Jumpman logo. I just tend to favor the Nike Air branding on the back of my Jordan 4s. It's just me. As far as like comfort and size, and the sneaker does fit just like any other Air Jordan 4 sneaker. Now for me, that is true to size. I don't recommend going up or down the size on this one at all. Just stick true to what you know. But I definitely want to take time to shout out the vendor who actually gifted the sneaker to review on the channel for you guys. And I do encourage encourage you to stay engaged like always. That can be reached on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even here on YouTube. Everything is at the King of Soul. But before we go, I'm gonna hit you guys with a 360 and the B-roll like I always do. But yeah, man, there you go. Air Jordan 4 Retro, and again, this is the Undefeated 2025 version. Now here's the front of the sneaker. Lateral side of the right. Lateral side of the left. There's your bottom. There's the medial side. And then there's the rear. And I do thank you guys for taking the time to tune in like always. But until next time, see you later.